Here we go. I look the exact same in the last. So it's Friday. I am back at the library. I am going to work on my internship because it's been a harrowing few days. So I'm getting back in the swing of that. And yeah, now I'm going to talk a little bit more about my writing process. Sorry, Tony's right. This is the thing for that. I don't have a tripod or anything like that because I'm not carrying that shit. Like I already got to carry the laptop. It's like, you know. So, I did my thing, my workshop last night with my class, and I am going to talk about my thesis a little bit more deeply because I had to do a presentation on a writer who inspired me, and I chose like Amy Bender and Off, which was the story within a short collection of stories called Willful Creatures. And I was explaining like the influences on me, where I want to go with the writing. And my teacher was like, how does this fit into your thesis? And I was like, well, I kind of feel like I want to write more like taking myself as a character and having these like little like vignettes or memories or micros or things like that. And that's kind of where I wanted to go. And Amy Bender, I really enjoy her work because her characterization was really on point. And there's a reason why after 10 years, I still remember that story. Not necessarily the details of it, because I was skimming through and I was like, I don't remember none of this. But I remember the characterization of like the main person in the story. And I remember thinking how like dangerous this person is, how off kilter and delusional and weird this person is, but that the characterization through Bender's writing was so strong that after all these years, I still remember that character, and I've been trying to figure out who this person was that wrote it. And so I'm gonna go back and like read it again and maybe more work from them. But it solidified that I do want to write about myself. So this is kind of segueing into the thesis part. So my thesis, I do feel like solidly is going to be about my body experiences with the body and like the juxtapositions of things like that. Do I know all of the details? No, because we're like approaching halfway through thesis one. But I do feel like I know where I want to go with it, and I understand where I want to go to it. Some things that I've decided to put in there. We've explored different poetic forms in the last like 6 weeks. I feel like, of course, just like regular like free verse or whatever. But I really want to try a pantun, and I really want to try. Hold on, let me like move you over. There you go. Let me move you over. I don't have to like stop you. So a pantun, and I'm going to read you what it is, the poem. So it's actually Malaysian, and then it was adapted by French poets. But essentially, let's see. So how it is, it's a series of quatrains, four lines in a stanza, with the second and fourth lines of each quatrain repeated as the first and third lines of the next. And then the second and fourth lines of the final stanza repeat the first and third lines of the first stanza. So it's very confusing. So what it means is kind of essentially you're not dealing with 16 individual lines that are different from each other. It's like you have like two that are different, and then two are the same, then the next one two are the same, two are different, next one two are the same, but they're looping back to previous like stanzas and stuff like that. So I want to try that. It was a shit explanation of it, but that's as close as you're gonna get with me. I want to do a pantun, and then I also want to try I do not know how to pronounce this. Hold on. I do not. Zuihitsu. It's a Japanese hybrid form. It incorporates nonfiction, musings, confessions, poetry, and miscellany to create a spontaneously layered text. And I really want to try this because I feel like it would help me to start to format the more maybe like medical things that I want to talk about, like specific medications, experience with medicalization, stuff like that. I would want to try this form. So I want to try this form. I want to try a haibun, which is kind of like prose, poetry type block of a text, and then like a haiku. I do want to try that. I don't know if I want to put that in the collection, but I do know I want to put this and a pantoum in the collection. I do know that. I really would like to put those two forms in there at least. And then the other one I'm exploring is the quatern poetic form. So I'm gonna go back to the glossary and like read you that if they have it in it. And I'm exploring the glossary from Poetry Foundation. So let me see. They don't have it. They have quatrain, which is essentially what it is, essentially. It's made up of 4 quatrains. So I'm gonna like type this up. So a quatern, okay, it is the same. This is from Writer's Digest. It's a poem with 16 lines, right? Okay, 16 lines broken up into 4 quatrains, which is a 4-line stanza. So a quatrain is a 4-line stanza. This has 4 4-line stanzas. So it has 4 quatrains in there, and then the total amount of lines is 16. So the quatern's rules essentially are that each line is composed of 8 syllables, and then it also incorporates pantoomy kind of vibes because it's like the first line is the refrain, and the second stanza the refrain appears in the second line, in the third stanza in the third line, and then the fourth line, which is the final line of the whole thing. And then there's no rules for rhyming or iambics, like iambic meter and stuff like that. There's nothing that needs to do that. And like, thank God, because that would be too much. I have been exposed to the villanelle, which sounds like villain to me. I've been exposed to that. Not necessarily as interested in that one, but I do know that I probably want a haiku. My good old backup when I don't know nothing, haiku, this quatern, pantoum type thing. So it's probably going to be 2 of those, 2 16-ish liners. The Zuihitsu, can't pronounce it. And then the rest is kind of like free. I do want to also try like this triptych, diptych kind of like thing. I do want to try that a little bit. I think that I just want to be able to have some variety and diversity, and I'm like try to shake it up anyway, but I really want to make sure that I put together some like really interesting pieces, because right now, like, I feel like I'm editing well, but now I'm starting to get into the nitty-gritty of like, I do want to have these differences in there because I do want to have like an interesting book. I don't want it to be just this flat, it's always like this 1 block or 2 blocks or whatever. I want it to be like a little bit more. So there's that. I'm thinking more deeply about thesis now, getting into more the nitty gritty. I feel like I have a working title as well, and a working like side project that I want to do with it. So this collection is more about my body. The next collection is more about the objects in relation to my body, and I'm an animist, so I'm very interested in objects and non-human kind of things. But I want that to be a separate thing. I want this to focus a lot more on my actual like body, or thoughts about the body, thoughts about other people's bodies in relations to mine and stuff like that. Not necessarily like a romantic sexual context, but like my mother, or like ancestral patterns, or like friendship, things like that. So it's very body centered. And then the other little side mini chapbook concept that I want to do is like objects related to my body, like actual objects that I use or have been used on me, things like that. So that is kind of where I am. I'm really happy with where I am. I think I'm going to start making a document or two that holds these poems that I'm working on, so that I like know where they are. Because one thing about me is like I don't like having to fiddle through and figure out everything. Like, like it's just it's stressful enough what's going on in my life. I don't want any more stress, so that's it. I don't want any more stress. I want to make sure that I can like do what I need to do, get what I need done, and go from there, Okay. I think that's about it. I will talk to you guys later. I'm very hungry and I'm trying to decide what I want to do right now. So I think I'm going to decide to go get food because it's Friday, which means it's kind of remote across campus. And I don't know how many people actually have like classes. So I'm going to go get food and come back, and we'll kind of like see how this goes. Okay. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.